Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is a film that, well, not the film, but the reason this review is being done is, well, very, very nice down here. Billbonjovi had sent me a movie, and he sent me a message saying, Matt, enjoy your gift. I remember watching a review of The Rift from 1989, which that review isn't still up because it had a copyright claim, and I'd like to redo that one day down the road. And you referred to this movie in that review, and you said you liked the film from Billbonjovi. So he sent me this film, but unfortunately I already had the film. So he's like, well, okay, yeah, I felt bad because he sent me a film, which was this film, Pieces. I'm like, I feel really bad. I didn't know he was sending me anything. And then it came in the mail, and I said, oh, I'm really sorry. He's like, no, don't worry about it. How about you give it to Michael Keaton? I said, well, I have to, wait to get to the post office, this and that. And this is how nice a guy this is. This guy said, you know what? Yeah, go ahead, do that, and I'm going to get you another movie. I'm like, you don't have to give me another movie. He's like, no, I want to. So that'll be coming. So I just had to point that out just to give a shout out to Billbonjovi, just to let you guys know how much of a nice guy this guy is. The guy sends me a movie, and just because it's one I already had, he's giving me another movie. And the second copy I have of this, I'm going to send it to Michael Keane so that he has it because he didn't have the film. Which Bill Bond. So Michael, if you're watching, when you get that, uh, thank Billbonjovi. He's the reason, not me. He's the reason. So Billbonjovi, just want to say thank you. But I figured, you know what? Why not review the film? He was nice enough to want to know my thoughts on it. And I know I said I wasn't going to be doing requests and stuff, but I know I still got a couple more, but it's a great thought, and it's the least I can do. And Pieces, this is a film from, I've heard 1981, I've heard 1982. Now, it's directed by a guy named John, no, not John, it was Juan. Juan Piquer Simon. Might have said that wrong. He directed a film in 1989 called The Rift. I think he did the film called Slugs, which I've never seen Slugs. The Rift, I don't know if that's out on DVD, The Rift. I don't think it is. I think that's only on VHS. I believe so. Because I remember the first time I saw it was online, because I don't think it's released. But there's another film this guy's done. Probably maybe his most famous. I mean, I don't know if Sludge the movie or this would be. Probably this would be more famous. And for those wondering, this is a 2-disc from Grindhouse Releasing, which I'm not sure what else Grindhouse Releasing has done. But looks nice. 2-disc. You got a booklet, which I dropped on the floor. Has a poster of the film. It's really cool. Pieces. I guess it's a slasher film that was made overseas. Then the director is a Spanish director. It stars Christopher George. This is a guy who's been in a few films. Like he was, I think, in the first Exterminator. I remember him from a film he did called Grizzly. Also stars his wife, Linda Day George. You also have Paul Smith, who's Bluto and Popeye, and he was also in Red Sonja as the big buddy of little Ernie Reyes Jr. He's the guy with the bone, big bone, Red Sonja. He's in the film. And the film's pretty much you have a campus and you have a guy killing people. For the most part with a chainsaw. I mean, even the tagline, there's 2 taglines. You don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre, as well as it's exactly what you think it is. And they got a point. I mean, the advertising is not bullshit. And this is how the deal alerts. It says on the trivia, and I bought it. I buy it now reading the trivia, that they base this on the look of The Shadow. and that looks like the Shadow. So I know my friend Mike OCP likes the Shadow, the movie. He's like, Mike, do you watch this? It's the Shadow killing people. Uh, it's fucking Alec Baldwin killing people, but it's the Shadow killing people. And the film is it's. I don't know if Michael Keane. I don't know if he's gonna like this or if he's gonna hate it or he's gonna be so bad it's good. I'm sort of the so bad it's good. I don't really think of movies a lot on so bad it's good, like Troll 2, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. This I could probably put in that category because uh, it definitely gets what you want in the type of movie like this. I mean, you got a lot of nudity, you definitely got gore. It's a short film, an hour and 25 minutes, and it's really ridiculous. I mean, it starts off, you have this kid, and he's piecing together. It's the 40s, the 19. Weirdly enough, it's the 1940s, but they have a telephone that's like. So I don't know if they had that in the 1940s. A telephone that you just pop pop pop. No, just a little thing, but it's the begins in the 1940s, and this kid's doing a jigsaw puzzle with a naked woman, and his mom finds it and hits him, calls him names, finding his stuff. And all of a sudden, the boy comes out with a fucking axe and hits her in the head. And so a woman, these cops come and they find that mom's head in the fucking closet, and they find the boy, pretend, oh, mommy, mom, where's my mommy? Lying little shit that he is. And the dubbing is really bad in this. It's really bad. But it kind of has a funny effect because the dubbing's so bad at times. Like, the fucking dubbing, there's a woman near the beginning, before I do that, after that scene, it gets in the 80s again, present day, or present day at the time this was made, where a girl, right off the bat, shit that doesn't make sense. A fucking girl is on a skateboard, and she, just random ass scenes where two people are carrying this big piece of glass, and the girl is skateboarding and skateboards into the glass. And then it cuts to the killer, I think, like smashing his mirror or something, and getting that same puzzle from when he was a kid. But I'm like, what the fuck was this random girl on a skateboard crashing to a big piece of glass? What the fuck did that have to do with anything? It was so random. Like later on, the actress Linda Day George, she gets attacked by a guy who knows kung fu, and this is actually Bruce Lee or Bruce Lee. I think it's Li. He's a guy that I remember. Sadly enough, the first Bruce Lee film I saw was one called Bruce the Superhero, which wasn't really Bruce Lee. I think he was also the one that was in a Robert Patrick film called Future War or Future Hunters, something like that. He's been in a lot of Bruce Lee ripoff films. Can you imagine me doing a month of that? Bruce Lee ripoff movies. But he's randomly attacking this woman. We never see this guy before. We never see this guy since. But he's attacking this woman, one of our leads, Linda Day George. And then he just stops and passes out. And then this kid, who's one of our leads, who's helping with the investigation, he comes by and goes, "Oh, Professor Lee, that's my kung fu professor." What happened? He's like, "I don't know. I was in my room." And I was like, "I was jogging, and all of a sudden I'm on ground. Must be bad chop suey. So long." It walks away. You never see him before, you never see him since. Just out of blue, a kung fu professor is fighting Linda J. George, passes out, says, "I had bad chop suey," and walks away. You never see him again. Same with like the woman on the skateboard, just all of a sudden just hitting a fucking piece of glass. The two guys were carrying. I don't know why. And then it cuts to, you have this girl studying, and this guy comes out with a chainsaw and cuts her head off. You see a little bit of her head cut off, see a big, like, gusher fountain of blood. And the after effects of the bodies are really gory. This is a very gory film, especially the after effects. So if you have a weak stomach, be aware. But it's so ridiculous that it just. I would not compare this to like Mars or Serbian film or even Maniac because it's just the dubbing's so bad. It's so ridiculous at times with some of its randomness. The gore is so over the top, and at times the effects, like you tell it when that girl gets her head cut off, it was sort of a mannequin head that you could tell. So it's not really the most. But the other gore is good gore, a lot of gore, I should say. But well, I was talking about the dubbing. After that scene, there's a woman like a group of kids are talking. This woman, uh, horrible dubbing, but it says the most beautiful thing in the world is smoking pot and fucking on a waterbed at the same time. What the fuck? What the fuck? But then you have Paul Smith, who you probably can't see this guy here. He's Bluto in the Popeye film, Robin Williams, and again, he was in Redstone. He was the guy with the big bone who helped out Arnold and Brigitte Nielsen. He's his gardener. He has a chainsaw. He's pretty much the red herring, but he didn't do it. You have Christopher George. He's the lieutenant on the case. Um, who the cops are pretty much they don't do much of a job because they pretty much need this one college kid's help, and they keep saying, "Oh, we need your help, kid. Oh, we need your help, kid." I'm like, "Do you have any fucking cops? A guy is killing people with a chainsaw." And he's like, "We need your help, kid." I'm like, "Fuck, why? Don't you have any more cops?" The fact you have to hinge on this guy, this kid's fucking help. But anyway, you have another scene where a woman swimming in a pool, and this guy, I just swear, he looks like the Shadow. He looks like the Shadow. He grabs like one of those pool like filter, you pool in the pool cleaning supply to get little leaves and stuff out. Chokes her with that, pulls her out, and you see titties. He kills her, but you don't see the destiny in that. But you do see quite a bit of titties. You do see quite a bit of titties. So it's like the guy is that it's okay. It's under 90 minutes. I got some titties. I got some blood, and I got some ridiculousness. It was par for the course. And like Paul Smith finds a chainsaw, and this is again the ridiculousness. He looks at the chainsaw. It's covered with blood. Head to toe, the chainsaw is covered with blood. Because you don't see the girl get killed, but you see the remains of the girl by the pool. Because what this killer you find out is doing is he's taking parts because he wants to make a jigsaw. No, not saw, but a jigsaw puzzle out of women. So he's pretty much getting certain limbs from women and connecting them. So Paul Smith looks at his chainsaw covered with blood, and he just decides to touch it, and then he goes. I'm like, the whole fucking thing is broad day. I mean, it's about as bright as my room. The chainsaw's covered head to toe with blood, and you're like, what the fuck? What's this? This is blood? It was covered with blood, but wow, I got on my hand when I touched it. And then even the cops are like, could that body have been killed by this chainsaw? I'm like, the one that's by the body and covered with blood? Gee, I don't know. Could it? Could this chainsaw have done that to that girl? I don't know. It's right by the girl and it's covered with blood. No, it's there for decoration. No, whoever killed her pulled the chainsaw out of her ass. That's why it's covered with blood. It was stuck in her ass and it was before a procedure and it didn't fucking work well. This is sort of like it was more fun than pissing me off. That's why it's a bad it's, it's, it's in a way, Linda Day George, who was the wife of Christopher George. I'm not sure if she was the wife at this time, maybe, but she's like a cop. I thought she was a cop, but then they say she's a tennis pro. Or I don't know if she's a cop probably going undercover as a tennis pro. But she's pretty ineffectual as a cop, to be honest. You have scenes of women doing aerobics. I mean, sweating to the 80s. sweating to the goalies. I mean, they got the tight clothes and they're doing aerobics with the soundtrack. So you have a bit of that, and the music is like this electronic voice talking. Another ridiculousness, like this next death scene, like one woman is running full force, and of course the killer walking very slowly down the steps, and somehow meets her at the elevator, and she's like, "Oh, so this guy looks like the Shadow, looks like this, although probably not without that face, but looks like this." He walks into the elevator, and she said, "He has the chainsaw behind." Behind his back. Yeah, no one can notice you, but yeah, next time I go to Walmart, I'm gonna get a chainsaw. I'm gonna put it right behind my back. No one will notice. And he touches something to like stop the elevator or something. So when he touched it, that means the chainsaw was right here. And she doesn't react. She's like, "What are you doing?" "I'm going to mow your pubes with this chainsaw." "What do you think, lady?" And then, he rips the chainsaw and cuts her arm off, and you can tell it's a fake arm, but cuts her arm off, blood sprays everywhere over the elevator, and pretty much they find her body. That's around the time where you get the kung fu guy, the professor. "Oh, it's my kung fu professor." It's like, "Oh, back chop suey, so long." Like, so long. And then this next kill, like, sort of out, not really out of the blue, but like the other kills are brutal, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you get the ridiculousness. This one kill is pretty brutal, I will say. It's pretty violent, brutal. This one, I would say, is not a laughing matter. It's meant to be horrific because this killer kills this woman on this waterbed. And it's shot in slow-mo, and it's nicely shot with a knife. Stabs her, but then stabs next to the waterbed. You see the waterbed gushing. She tries to run away. He stabs, and you get that he stabbed in the back of her head, and the knife came out of her mouth, like the tip came out of her mouth. You see him like the tip of the knife come out like out of her mouth. So that was a brutal scene, I will say. That was one of those. Okay, I'm not laughing now. What happened? We were having so much fun. I mean, it was a well-shot death sequence, I will say. It was well shot. It did what it was meant to do. Definitely inventive, because I've never seen a death scene quite like that on the waterbed and the knife going like that way. But then again, you get the idea that the killer's putting this body together like a jigsaw puzzle. And like, there's another moment where he kills this girl in a shower. Like, she runs away. Of course, she's topless. And I guess they use like a dead pig carcass for the close-up. Could be wrong. But he gets a chainsaw, and you see the saw go through the side of her body. And, it's pretty graphic. Boom, right on the side of her body. And then when they find her, you see the rest of her body, her top half is left there. She's been cut in half. And yeah, it is pretty bloody. But then the silliness returns when when they find the body. Linda J. George is like, "We were out here, the music was playing. That bastard killed her. Bastard! Bastard! Bastard!" Just look, if you click Pieces 1982 Bastard, I'm sure it's online. Just the way she says, like, "Bastard! Bastard! Bastard!" Just the way she did it is so, like, elongated. It's hard. It's funnier seeing it than explaining it. And pretty much one thing leads to another. Linda Day George sees the dean, the kid, the lead kid is helping the cops, including Christopher George. And I know it's like when the kid's helping these cops like look for information. I just know it's like the Wendy's cups, like buy soft drink at Wendy's. It's just fucking Wendy's everywhere. This kid's drinking out of a Wendy's cup. It's just like that just sort of caught me off guard. It's like Wendy's. We don't have Wendy's around here, but it's Wendy's. Oh shit, he's got a Wendy's cup. I'm hungry now. And like again, the dialogue, the dubbing is so bad with like this guy one of the cops gets the info. He's like, "I'll send you a case of lollipops." What? And pretty much they find out that the dean is the one who's doing the killing. They found out that the guy, I guess, had changed his name or something, and that his mom had died, and he was the kid at the beginning. And pretty much the dean drugs Linda Day George. The cops get there. They think the bad guy's gone. Linda Day George, she's drugged so she can barely move or say anything. The lead kid is getting her out. Then he struggles with the killer. Christopher George comes in and shoots the guy in the head. Sort of a lame effect. I mean, this is the death of the villain. And really, it might as well be a fucking paintball hit the guy in the head. If it was like the Prowler, I mean, that's one thing I'll say about the Prowler, the way the bad guy gets it with the shotgun, boom, okay, that should have been more glorious of a death for the killer. I mean, just sort of a paintball to the head. I mean, it's supposed to be he's shot in the head, but, a paintball in the head, just, it's like, those others, you just looks like someone shot you with a paintball. I thought that was kind of lame to kill the bad guy off that way. It should have been more glorious. Considering what the guy's been doing to these women, it should have been more glorious death. Like, he comes in with a shotgun and boom! Or something like that. But hey, what do I know? Uh, they, you think everything's wrapped up. The kid and one of the cops inadvertently find that jigsaw body that's been put together and it falls on the guy. And then I guess by this time, pretty much everyone, like Christopher George, Linda Day George, them have left, and it's just our lead kid, and when I say kid, like teenager, and another cop. The guy's like, "Let me do my corpse." Again, shit that doesn't make sense. Passes by that corpse. I'm talking about the corpse that was put together with body parts. For some reason, its arm shoots up, grabs the guy in the balls, and squeezes. So it pretty much crushes his balls into blood. And the guy screams. You don't see the balls, you just see he grabs his jeans, and then and blood through his jeans, and the guy of course screams, and then the movie ends. I'm like, what the fuck was that? The body somehow came to life and crushed this guy's balls? At least it wasn't Christopher George, because he doesn't do well in this film because of the dubbing, but I liked him in Grizzly, so that's why I liked him in the film Grizzly. And I think out of the actors, I could deal with him, but again, the dubbing really affects everyone. I mean, but because I like Grizzly, it's like, okay. But, I mean, why is it bad? Everything I've said. But why is it entertaining? It's under 90 minutes. You got blood. You got tits. I don't mind the score. Sort of early 80s score. Sort of Italian. I don't think this was an Italian film, but it reminds me of it was a Spanish director and optional Spanish soundtrack with original score by Librado Pastor. But I don't know, the music sometimes sounds like something you hear in like a dark, I don't know, some Fulci or something. I don't know how to describe the score. But it's just the ridiculous stuff that comes out of nowhere. Like, oh, okay, that person just got his nuts grabbed and squished. Okay, this woman's skateboarding all of a sudden runs into a fucking big giant piece of glass. Oh, there's a kung fu guy, and we never saw him before or since. And then, wow, it's really bloody. Wow, that's really gory. And oh, now Linda Day George is saying, bastards! And fucking. Then you got some more bad dubbing, and you got just I'll say one thing. It was entertaining to watch, at least. It was entertaining to watch. I don't know if my friend Michael will like this. He might not have fun like I did with it. They may think, man, why the hell you laugh at this for? Because, yeah, some of the deaths are really violent. But it's just so ridiculous with some of that stuff. You're like, what the fuck? It just makes me laugh. I know Eli Ross is a big fan. It's one of his favorite horror films. Fallen chainsaw of violence, absurd amounts of nudity, and the greatest ending in horror history. It's not the greatest ending in horror history, but had fun. Oh, Joe Bob Briggs, best chainsaw flick since the original Chainsaw Massacre. Splatter City, 4 stars. Oh, from the producer of Last House on the Left and Friday the 13th. I don't know who the producer of this is, but I it was definitely entertaining. I mean, it would fit in this so bad it's good. But yeah, if you like slasher films, give it a shot. But I know someone like Lunaria Claire. If she watches this, give this film a shot. Other people, if you like slasher films, give this film a shot. You'll, yeah. What more can I say? Other than it's pieces. But thanks for watching, and see you later.